Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing right now?
Right. Good.
Nobody still's tired, nobody hungover, we all good right now? All right, just checking. So first of all, I definitely want to thank SummitLive for just bringing us all together. Real quick, show of hands, how many of you are small business owners? All right, awesome. How many of you are marketers? All right, fantastic. Congratulations on ruining everything, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. So first of all, for showing up and for being here at SummitLive, I want you guys to do me a huge favor. I want you to clap it up for yourselves because you didn't have to come out here. I'm definitely sincere about that because, you know, one of the hardest things to do for most people is to educate themselves about things they don't know or to do things that are challenging to them. I know that's something that I see all the time in the YouTube community, and it's the reason why it's one of the most powerful marketing tools out there is because it is a tool for people to educate themselves and become informed. It's not just an entertainment medium. So when you're trying to think about the platforms that allow you to market your services or advocate on behalf of your businesses or to reach your customers or your consumers, you have to understand that they're seeking more than to be entertained, and if you can educate them and you can keep it fun and informative and you can provide a real service, that's how you're going to deliver value to them. And you have a couple of ways you can do that now. We're going to talk about YouTube Live, and we're going to talk about recorded video, because this is SummitLive. We're talking about live streaming here, but I want you to understand that there is a balance between live and recorded video, and that you can actually master both. You do not have to choose. It is not a binary option. There is power in actually leveraging both, and it will give you an advantage over your competitors if you can figure that out. That's what I'm here for. So, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with me, I am Roberto Blake, and ideally I'm helping you create something awesome today. Real quick, have any of you ever heard of me before? Show of hands. Oh, that's actually really flattering. Okay, that makes life easier. Thank you very much. So I am a YouTube educator and a creative entrepreneur. I do a lot of how-to content. I do a lot of tutorials, software, all of that good stuff. I've produced over 1,000 videos in the past few years. It's actually helped me reach 200,000 subscribers on the YouTube platform, 2 million views across my videos. But I'm no stranger to live streaming. In the last 2 years, I've done over 300 live streams across multiple platforms. I've used everything from YouTube Live, aka Google Hangouts on Air, Facebook Live, early adopter, Periscope, early adopter there as well. Meerkat, Moment of Silence, Blab, and also I've used Twitch. I've done Adobe live streams, doing real-time projects in the Twitch platform, which is really clever, and Instagram live video, early adopter to that platform as well. So I am no stranger to the power of live video, the advantages that it provides, and that really, in a lot of ways, one of the most convenient things is that it means you don't have to worry about editing. Even though that's the thing I really love doing, is editing stuff. So let's talk about the power of YouTube specifically. Anybody here watch a YouTube video in the last 24 hours, the last 48 hours? Oh wow, big surprise. Just about everybody. The reason that we can all say that is because YouTube is this wonderful platform and tool. Yes, it's entertaining. We all enjoy our cat videos from time to time, but I'm pretty sure that a few of you do what I do, is you sit there and you're struggling and you're like, okay, how to tie a tie. All right, let me see how to do a double Windsor knot, because, you know, that sucks. I'm not good at it. So it does help us with the things we're not good at, and that's where you can provide unique value to your customers and to your consumers. It's the second largest search engine in the world. So when you look at the value of Periscope, anybody here a big fan of Periscope? How about Facebook Live? Anybody here experimenting with Instagram Live? Great. If you need to find a piece of content in those platforms right now, can you search for it and find it? No. And that's a problem, because search is intentional. You're trying to reach buying audiences, right? You guys want people to buy your products and services. Well, back in the day, when I was growing up, I'm 32, I know I don't look it, but I'm old enough to remember a world before YouTube, a world before the modern internet. I'm old enough to remember dial-up. You know that? Anybody here ever want to go back to that?
No.
No. Oh, one guy. Okay, it's like, well, you can. Just play with you, but seriously, I remember that intent matters. The intent of looking something up in the yellow pages, we all remember that. And then when the beautiful things like Excite and Yahoo and AOL search came out, they changed our lives because we could now get information without having to do a search in a phone book or use the Dewey Decimal System in the library. Like, do you guys really like actually remember that and using a card catalog? Like, I know the people over in YouTube, I know a lot of you probably don't remember this. You have no idea, what is this old guy talking about? And I use that term loosely. At 33, I really do feel like I'm Grandpa YouTube at this point. But there's a reason for that. We have 1 billion users on YouTube at this point that are searching with intention, whether it's to find those cat videos because, hey, I want to laugh, I want to be entertained, I need something after 8 hours of work to get my mind off of everything else that I have to deal with this week. Okay, or I need to solve a problem, or hey, I'm getting ready to go out, and I'm getting ready to spend $1,000 on a camera, or $1,200 on a drone. Wait, before I do that, let me see what other people are saying before I blow all this money and I'm disappointed. So product reviews are a big deal. This is why it is a huge platform for search, and this is why it matters that you show up there. Despite all the advantages you have in Periscope because of its ease of use, Facebook Live because your audience and your community is there. With 1 billion users on the platform, there's a pretty strong chance that somebody that's gonna buy from you is on YouTube right now, and you just have to get in front of them and pull them away for a few seconds from a cat video so that you can close. Does that make sense? You guys feeling that? All right. So there's a reason you want to be on this platform. And search is a big part of it. It's an advantage you don't get elsewhere. But let's talk about some of the other advantages of specifically using YouTube Live and what you're going to get out of it. Monetization. Anybody here interested in making money? Anybody here interested in making money even if you don't have to convert a sale? Like, yeah, I think we all kind of like passive income. I kind of think it's pretty cool. Make money in your sleep, make money after the work's already done. It's like, as much as I love the hustle, kind of like making money not doing anything too. So YouTube gives you that. When you're doing live streaming in YouTube, even when you first start, when people come into the stream, they might get a 10, 15, 20-second pre-roll ad, and you're gonna make money off of that. Granted, it's pennies on the dollar, we all know about CPM rates, yada, 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 but it's something. And you're still putting valuable information out there. And that's if you choose to enable the ads. You don't have to always enable the ads. Sometimes it's advantageous not to. Why? Because unlike the other platforms, you can link out in the description. And people can go to your website and buy stuff. Or people can go to your email list. Or people can sign up for your course. So you can already just pull people to your lead magnet or directly sell them when you go live on YouTube, which right now you cannot do that in Instagram. Right now in Instagram, you can't even archive the video once you do it. It's just FOMO. The only value and advantage of that is FOMO. And guess what? FOMO isn't a matter of the thing going away. FOMO is I didn't get to engage in real time with you. I didn't get to experience the singular moment in time with you. I wasn't there. I'm watching the playback. It's like, remember when you're growing up and you watch home videos or you watch something or you get a postcard from somebody and it's, oh, wish you were here? That's FOMO too. So don't think that the value is that your content goes away, because I know a lot of live streamers love to believe the narrative that the value is, all right, this video will self-destruct. Inspector Gadget style, Chief Quimby style. Okay, there is a point to that and there is some value to that, but you know what? I'm more likely to buy an album if I can watch the replay of a live concert than if I just hear about it from my friends and how much it sucks that I wasn't there and let them rub it in my face. I'm much more likely to say, gee, if I could actually go and if I wasn't there for the live experience, at least I can see the replay, I can see what I was missing out. Boy, does that make me not want to miss out next time. Boy, does that make me want to go ahead and buy my tour tickets so that next time I can actually get in on this. So you have the ability to monetize, you have the ability to link out, you have the ability to archive and have that stuff for search. You also have the ability to control the thumbnail and the descriptions and the search tags. And what this means is actually before we started, even though I'm going to replace it later, I was able to do a countdown with the YouTube Live mobile app. Have a 3-second countdown, do a selfie, and create context, and go ahead and have that thumbnail. Something I don't get to do with Periscope, Facebook Live, or Instagram. I don't get to control the packaging of my product. YouTube lets me control the packaging of my product. That's very important. YouTube lets me, before I even hit the live button, go ahead and have links. There are links right now in this live stream to my newsletter. There's links for people to use affiliate links to support me in Amazon and buy my camera gear, my same exact setup and everything like that. So there are many ways for me to go ahead and extract value from this live stream in real time without someone having to take an action after the fact. Right now, while this is streaming, this is already creating value for me. right this moment. And it also is...
Listen, Facebook Live and Twitter, when you create the post, you can actually put a hyperlink to something saying,
you can
buy this or look at this now.
You
so
can, but with Twitter, you've got 140 characters to do that on top of your title and on top of any hashtag that you want to use for search.
This will do it.
You can do one. With YouTube right now, I've got 10 shots. One of them should land. I'm not dissing Periscope. Twitter's my favorite platform, to be honest with you. And the user interface for Periscope for live streaming I felt was the most superior one until YouTube Live launched this mobile app. But even beyond that, Periscope really doesn't have a great desktop streaming viability right this moment.
That's okay, I'm on my phone anyway.
That's true for you, and I will get to that. We'll have a Q&A component, but I don't mind the way Baron, because it features my last third point here. One thing you can't do with Periscope right now, if you wanted to, is if I wanted to, with YouTube Live on the desktop, I could use Wirecast, and I could have a panel with 4 of my contemporaries, 4 leading experts from around the world on any topic. I can interview people in real time. Like, for example, if I was able to get an interview with Joel Kahn or Gary Vaynerchuk, I could do that in real time no matter what part of the world we're in. I could put together a panel of 4 people. Even with Facebook Live, you can't necessarily have 4 people on screen at the same time if you want to. Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators, one of the YouTube certified experts, one of the leading experts in this, put together a series called Video Entrepreneurs, and he would have a panel of, I think, about 6 different video entrepreneurs that are doing video in different ways, and actually would have them, and they would do a 2-hour live stream and Q&A session, and you would get value from a bunch of other people who aren't Tim. And there's not another platform right now in modern live streaming between the major big players, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., that really allows you to do that. So while I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the absolute end-all be-all platform, because I don't believe that, remember, I'm still natively in all these platforms. You know, part of that narrative of like to outwork people is show up everywhere. I educate myself in everything. But if you thought for 1 minute that this is something that's not valuable to you, I hope I've eliminated that assumption for you right now. Now let's talk about the challenges and the barriers. There's this whole idea of things having to be perfect, especially in YouTube, because you see the big YouTubers out there with 1 million subscribers with all the fancy camera gear. You see guys like me who make you feel bad when they whip out something like this Sony RX100. And here's the thing, you don't need to do that. The smartphone is more than good enough. The camera that you have in your pocket right now is better than the camera Spike Lee had when he shot Do the Right Thing in the 80s. And as for the editing, so guess what? Good enough is good enough. And as for the editing, the apps that are available to you right now, whether they're on your mobile phone or your desktop, are better than what Lucasfilm had to work with, or equal than what Lucasfilm had to work with in the 1970s when they were manually cutting together Star Wars. You have something that's a little easier to work with right now. Something that's just a little better than that right now, and some of it is free. So here are some of the free best mobile video editing apps, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the desktop apps. If you're on Android or iPhone, you can use Adobe Premiere Clip. You want to work from a web browser, not even download software, you've got Adobe Spark. You want about $100 worth of video editing for your desktop that's really good and comes with a screen recorder. Cyberlink Power Director is really simple to use and it's easy. For all of you Apple fans, you got iMovie. If you want to go more advanced, you got Final Cut Pro, and it's only $300, and it's movie-grade video editing software. For about $100, you've got Adobe Premiere Elements. Great editing, and it can do webcam capture as well. And if you're someone who wants to get a little fancy like me, you have Adobe Premiere Pro. And I put together a tutorial that can teach you the basics of Adobe Premiere Pro. It takes the 500 options, narrows it down to the 6 you actually need, and you can figure this out and make a video after this 20-minute tutorial. So that is out there for you guys. It's on my YouTube channel. And for those of you who want to screen record your desktop and just demo things, ScreenFlow is $100 and it's really simple to use. So, Roberto, we have all these tools, we have this great platform, but there's so many people on YouTube. How do I stand out? This is a thing I hear all the time. YouTube is oversaturated. What I do, what I want to talk about, what I'm passionate about, what my business is, it's already there. Somebody's always doing it already, etc., etc., etc. And you know what the funny thing is about that? It doesn't matter. It is the #1 excuse for a lack of execution is that it's already been done and the market is oversaturated. And that is completely irrelevant because the market was oversaturated when Kodak made its cameras and made its technology, and well, I love Kodak. They're trying to make a comeback, but look at where they are today. The market was plenty saturated when Blockbuster was in its heyday and Netflix decided to come along and disrupt the market. There's always room at the top. Quality stands out, and quality is not what you think it is, but I'll get to that in a moment. Because again, your phone is more than good enough. So how do you compete? The answer is you don't. You're only in competition with yourself. This is not a boxing match. This is not a boxing match. This is track and field. You're competing against yourself and the clock. You're only as good as your last execution. You're only as good as your last race. You're trying to beat your best time. You're trying to beat your best performance. This is you working out in the gym. This is not you going into the arena with other people. This is about how can you deliver the best value you can. It's not about competing, it's about delivering value. It's about delivering quality experiences. And the thing is, when you're doing that and you're creating that unique value, and you're using YouTube as a vehicle and not a destination, the view counts, the subscriber counts, they are irrelevant. Did you help one person, 10 people, solve a problem that you're uniquely positioned to solve, and did you make them care about you, and did you make them trust you to deliver for them in the future? Because guess what? I'll let you in on a secret about all these million subscribed YouTube channels, all these 100 subscribed YouTube channels. This is a secret that I don't know if anyone's ever told you this before. Every single one of them started with zero. Zero, none, goose egg. Every single one of them had a contemporary or a competitor that was bigger than them by 1,000 times, by 100 times. And here's the other thing. None of them, for the most part, with very few exceptions, did one thing that was even original. Can you believe that? Nobody who is really successful at almost anything did it by doing something original. Nobody. I mean, did J.K. Rowling, was she the first person to write about a wizard school? Was she the first person to write about a dark lord who wants to conquer everything? Because I'm pretty sure that was done 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years. I'm sure I've heard this story before somewhere. So how valuable is originality versus being unique, putting your perspective, your spin, your voice to it, your look, your stylistic approach? There's nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. So think of this as a vehicle and not destination. Think of this as a tool. And I'll use an example here. I'm going to use myself as a proxy because in 2013, none of you knew who I was. Nobody really did, for the most part. And when I started in this platform doing weekly content in YouTube, I wasn't doing anything original. I was doing Photoshop tutorials. That had been done a million times. You know what, though? I don't feel personally that a lot of them were great. And even the ones that were great were talking over people's heads. It wasn't something that a 16-year-old Roberto would have been able to sit through for 15 minutes. So I took something that felt complex and that for some people was too boring to get through, and I managed to get people excited about learning something and learning how to use a complicated tool, and I made it accessible to them. I made it fun, I made it informative, and I made it less scary. If you think about that, can you do that for your viewers? Can you do that for your customers? Can you do that for your consumers? Can you make a buying decision less scary? Can you make a buying decision feel less intimidating and like less of a risk? Can you help them get comfortable enough? And can you help them trust you? And can you be sincere in just trying to solve their problem instead of trying to sell them? When I was a kid in college and I was doing retail, I could outsell almost anybody. Because when I was working, I think once I was working at Champ Sports, or it was owned by Foot Locker. And I was a track and field kid back in high school. And you know what I would do? I would always ask people about, well, how are your knees? Like, what are you doing? Like, how's your arch support? I would ask them questions. I would qualify what their actual problem was. And the thing is, if it wasn't going to be the $180 Nikes and it was going to be the $69 Asics that were going to get it done for them, I sold them the $69 Asics. And then what happened is, because I did that, they told 20 of their friends to only work with me and only come see me and only buy from me. And that works. So when I started doing YouTube videos, I created that trust. I made software that was really scary. I made Adobe stuff that has a million options. Very intimidating, very scary stuff. I made it accessible and made people excited about it. And then they started asking me questions. And then I started delivering value on the things that they were asking me to teach them that they wanted to feel less scared about. so they can get their job done, or so they can get the job that they want, or so they can stop feeling this anxiety in their chest whenever their boss throws them a curveball. I made their life easier. And the result was that by 2015, after having a reputation for doing that, I was able to give my first speaking engagement at PepCon, which is an industry conference put on by Creative Pro Network, who does a lot of tutorials, and they have a lot of platforms around that for Adobe users and for the print services industry, and I was able to talk to them. And that was my first ever speaking engagement. In 2016, I had 100,000 subscribers in YouTube. I'd done almost 20 speaking engagements by that point, and I was writing for industry publications like Creative Pro and How Design Magazine and Print Magazine, among others. And today, as a result of what I was able to leverage this platform because of search, and because of intent of users, and because of creating an experience for them, and from doing live Q&As, answering their questions, and giving them upfront value for free, it put me in a position where I'm speaking in front of you guys today, and I managed to double that subscribership, and I managed to book more speaking engagements, a dozen for the quarter for the first 2 quarters of the year, compared to what I did for the majority of last year. And so by using it as a tool and a vehicle for whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's getting more people on your email list, which I think a lot of you would want to do, you can use free live videos and webinars to do that. The beauty of it as a hack, I'll tell you, is that YouTube has mobile info cards. You know, it's something that you can't do even when you live stream or you save a recorded video in Periscope or on Facebook. It doesn't have a mobile native component that lets you click on the screen and get them to sign up for your email list. Yes, they can click out a link to do that and everything. They don't have an interactive component that pops up on the screen in real time that does that. And even when I'm setting up these live streams, I can set those up in advance. I don't have to do it just for the recording for the playback. That's another hack. That's another tool. That's another thing you can do. So when you just create awesome content for people, when you create value in the form of both recorded and live stream video, you have this disproportionate advantage of creating trust, of people knowing you. Nobody knew who I was. They certainly do now. The right people, the people who are going to buy from me, the people who are going to hire me, the people who are going to come to me and put themselves in my hands. That matters. And you do that by creating quality experiences and value. And quality is how you make people feel. Now, let's talk about the YouTube Live mobile app real quick, because again, Mitch is streaming on it right now for me, showing it off to people in real time. And right now, this is only available to people with 10,000 subscribers in YouTube. You can use the desktop version easily, but the mobile app is going to roll out probably within the next 60, 90 days to everybody, if not sooner. But if you have 10,000 subscribers, and if you don't, you can watch my videos and you can probably get there a little more quickly, because I actually talk about exactly how I went from 0 to 100,000, 200,000, etc. I break it down because that's unique value. But I tested this mobile app and I tested it from my audience. And when I did, I got about maybe in that first, and I think the slides are, the battery's probably dying, but that's fine because I can go without the slides. That's the other thing about when you know your content, you can do it cold. But the beauty of it is, I love chaos. Thank God for the chaos. Chaos is a ladder. But no, when I did this, I had about 1,200 live views, cumulative total, after I did the stream within the first hour after I did this 45-minute stream. It's been about 2 weeks, and I'm up to almost 4,000 views on that live stream in terms of replay value. Now, the majority of you, how many of you would love in your current live streams just to get 1,000 views? Have any of you ever gotten 4,000 or 5,000 views on a live stream before? All right, we got one person. Anybody ever get 10,000 views on a live stream before? 20,000? Because I've actually been able to do that because of replay value. I've been able to do on these YouTube live streams because of replay value. I can get initially maybe 300 people watching in real time. Within the first couple of hours, that'll top to over 1,000 because it's right there, it's searchable, it's replay value. And these things are long. I usually go for almost 2 hours in my live streams, and they're live Q&As. And I get people to watch that much and to invest in it because it solves a unique problem for them, and because the platform keeps delivering it. It keeps distributing it, and it makes it accessible in searches for it. Because what the other platforms are not doing is after and during, while you're recording, it's not marketing for you and working for you. When I do this in YouTube, YouTube is still pushing it out and distributing it based on the YouTube algorithm. And then after the fact, when it's sitting there in my archived videos, YouTube is still pushing it out, not only when people search for it, but it's also recommending it to it based on other things that they watched. No other current live streaming platform is recommending your live videos after the recording. So that's an advantage. That's how you continue to use these things that you do to sell in your sleep. It's how when you do a masterclass, because this is a strategy you can use, or when you do a webinar, it can still create value for you. It can still keep growing your email list after the fact. It can still keep monetizing for you after the fact. So that's really where the power of this is. And in terms of how you balance this with recorded video, I'm gonna give you a couple of tips and hacks real quick. One of the things you can do is if you're doing a Q&A and you make sure that you read these Q&As out loud and so on and so forth, is that you can sit there after the fact, download this, chop it up, and just put the question and the answer out there as a packaged video that solves a unique thing, and it positions you as a subject matter expert, and it means you're now extrapolating that unique value. You could do that, or if you don't want to do that and you want to make something native and something really good, is you can revisit this recording now. You can say, that was a really good question. I gave a really good answer, but I can go deeper there. You can pull out your smartphone, and in the same way that you would do a live recorded video with your smartphone and just put it out in Periscope or Facebook, instead of hitting live, you could just hit record in your phone on the YouTube app, and you can sit there and you can do a one take the same way you've always done, no editing, and say, okay, I'm done. And then you can just upload it. You can use exactly the same format, exactly the same skill set, exactly the same level of comfort that you have with live streaming to do one take recorded videos. And you can do those one take recorded videos and you can upload them to YouTube, because quality is not about polished production videos with my fancy DSLR, my shotgun microphone, or my fancy vlogging camera here with a flip out screen. It's not about that. Quality is about the experience. Quality is about the experience. A good date could be a picnic in the park, or it could be cheap beer, or it could be Disney World. It doesn't matter how much money you spend, it doesn't matter how fancy you are, it doesn't matter what props you use. What matters is how good you make people feel. What matters is the value that they get out of it, the experience of it. Did you make their life easier? Did you make their life better? Did you make them feel good? Did you make them feel safe? Did you make them feel confident? Did you make them feel like they can trust you? That's quality. Your megapixels can go to hell. That's quality. Okay? But make sure your audio doesn't suck, because no one wants to sit through that. And that's an experience, that's real. I think we all understand and we can appreciate that. So if you're gonna do it, just go ahead and put something like the Rode Video Mic Me, hashtag not sponsored, into your phone and do that. Make sure you're using an Archon mount to stabilize it, hashtag kinda not sponsored. And again, just make sure you're creating a quality overall experience in what you're doing, whether it's recorded or live. As for recorded, I put out a video just about every day. I average 30 to 40 videos a month, and that's recorded video. And I know that sounds insane to a lot of you, but it's because they are 5-minute to 8-minute videos, maybe 10 if I stretch, and I just record them back to back. And I do them in one take in the same way that, hey, the computer battery died, slides are gone. Oh wait, I know this material. I've talked about these things 1,000 times. I make my friends and family's ears bleed because I'm a big old nerd and I know things that are too complicated for them. But my audience loves it. So I will just do it live. And by that, I mean I'll hit record, and it's the equivalent of live for me, because all I'm going to edit out is the moments where I scratch my beard, or when I take a swig of water, or when I flub a word like I just did. That's all I'm going to do. And then I'll just, I flubbed that word. Okay, so I'll just do this again, blah, 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 and that's it. And so my editing is super simple. It's just jump cuts. I literally shoot a 5-minute video in 6 minutes, and I'm just scrapping a minute of screw-ups, flubs, beard scratching, and water breaks, and that's it. I do that for an hour, the same way you guys sit and live stream like bosses, like just going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. I just do that, but I'm just hitting record over and over again, and that's the only real difference. Which means there's no difference, there's no reason those of you who are awesome live streamers can't do awesome recorded short form content as well. It's the same thing, you're just breaking it up. So whether you want to repurpose the live streams you've already done and break it up and just approach the recording intentionally when you live stream, you can do that, or you can get out of your head do recorded video 2 in exactly more or less the same way, realize, oh wait, there's no difference, it's just literally 2 more minutes of setup to do this. Okay, oh, I actually get to take bathroom breaks this time, fantastic. You know, that's it. That's all there is to it. That's the only thing you have to do recorded video. And again, like I said, the editing can be minimal. The editing can be minimal, and you can do it on free and cheap software. So, I mean, I hope that makes you guys feel a little less intimidated by the prospect of doing recorded video in addition to your live. And like I said, the difference is the emotional value is it's hard when you guys record and like upload some of your hour, 2-hour streams to YouTube for somebody who doesn't know you yet to make the emotional commitment of investing that amount of time with you. 10 minutes might even be too much to spend time with someone you don't know. You know, I think a lot of you may have had bad dates like that. I know I certainly have. You know, I don't know if anyone's brave enough to do a show of hands on that one. But yeah, sometimes I don't know if I want to spend more than a couple of minutes with this person. I don't know about that. You know, so if you can do some short 3-5 minute things that make them say, you know, I kind of like so and so, or oh, they make me feel comfortable, or oh, yeah, it's like I'd like to get to know them a little bit better. When you do something for an hour, it's not a crucible and it's not an emotional anxiety moment for them of, oh, do I really want to commit that much time of my day to this person? You know, so that's a thing. Part of the reason that live works is because people don't necessarily know how much time they're committing, and they can just come in or come out, and if they don't like what they see, they can just leave. They can just flitter in and out. You know, there's a little bit of a fickleness to that, but when you can set these things up, this is how you get people to make a commitment. And when you get them to commit their time, it's a little easier when you go for an ask like money or an email address. When you ask someone to give you access to them and compromise their privacy, or you ask for them to let you reach into their wallet, that's a big deal. And the build up to that is you can use the short form content to get them to introduce yourself to you at a low emotional cost, at a low time cost. And then you can build up the relationship, and eventually you can get them to go deeper with you. And so it's these micro moments, it's a first impression. And so that's how you'll get reach. And that's why people like to say the sweet spot of YouTube is do 3 to 5 minute videos. It's because initially, to get an emotional commitment, yes. But once you've established that trust, you can go as long as you want, or as long as you need to, or as long as you deliver value. One of the slides I was going to show you was my friend Amy Schmittauer. She went to an event that was hosted by Gary Vaynerchuk and Damon John. One thing she did was, it was the week that the YouTube mobile live app released, and her test was, hey, I will share in real time an experience, a once in a lifetime experience that a lot of you are missing out on, and I'll share it in the platform where I have the most strength and the most reach, and where I can archive this for all time. And she did it using the YouTube Live mobile app because she has like about 50, 60,000 subscribers, so she qualified to get in on it, just like me. And she was able to share the opening of Damon John's new co-working space and the fireside chat between him and Gary Vaynerchuk. And that was huge, and it was great because like I wasn't in New York, I'd left a couple of days before, and I was able to experience this, and I was like, oh wow, I missed out on that in real life physically, but I'm seeing this moment in time as it's happening, and I'm seeing history, and that was very cool. So if you're at something that's valuable, that like Summit Live, there's an opportunity for you to build an audience around the people who are interested in that, or the people who even attended the event, by capturing a moment in time that they might have missed. So in terms of a strategy for how do I break into this, how do I use YouTube Live, how do I make the content different than what I'm doing in the other platforms? One, remember what I said about originality, it's overrated. It really is. And then the other thing is, remember that you can share unique experiences and moments. You can also deliver value to your audience. Just stage a Q&A. Put a title that says something that you're an expert in. Like for example, I'm going to like just randomly kind of pick up something. You, gentleman in the gray suit, what are you an expert at? You're an expert at drones. Oh, thank God, I just bought a Mavic Pro, right? So, you know what? You do a drone Q&A in YouTube Live. You realize how many YouTubers are just going out and buying drones right now? And like now that the Phantom 3 is like under $500, that's like, oh, I can get a drone, I can get into this and everything like that. But at the same time, oh my God, I'm gonna crash this thing at some point. There's a lot of anxiety around buying a drone, operating a drone. Oh God, do I have to like register with the FAA? Do I need a license? Like, oh God, is the government gonna come after me for this? There's like a lot of people who would love to pick your brain, including me, who are either new drone owners, existing drone owners, or they plan to buy a drone this year because they just keep coming out and there's so much competition. It's like, oh, what do I buy? Do I buy the Karma? Do I buy the Mavic? Do I buy the Phantom? Is it worth it? oh God, how do I what accessories do I need to buy to keep this thing from crashing? How many batteries should I use? How long does it, you could do a Q&A, and I guarantee you would get people into that Q&A. I also guarantee pretty much that maybe not the first time, but if you have Amazon affiliate links and B&H Photo affiliate links in the description of that live stream, and during the live stream you continue to point out to people, hey, I have recommendations for drones, I have them for every budget in the description. It's not just you doing a sales pitch at that point, it's you creating unique value to say, hey, if you don't know what to buy, the buyer's guide list is in the description below for every budget. So if you've got, whether you've got $200 or you got $2,000, there's a recommendation for you. That is, oh, that solves my problem. I don't have to overthink. I don't have to search through this thing. It's just a list. Oh, thank God. We all know, we're all business people and marketers here. List articles, list videos, they work. So you can leverage that. Yes?
Yes, if you already are on Facebook or Instagram Live or
I'm in all of them.
All the other live services, how do you decide whether you're going to create content for YouTube Live in addition to all these other ones? Like how many live platforms can you run at the same time? Should you set get 3 phones in your laptop and say, hey, I'm going live on all of them right now?
I love this.
Or you do 5 minutes live on one, 5 minutes live on the other. What do you do?
You do what's practical for you and you do what you can make work, but I'm gonna ask you another question. So if this was 1996 and you, for the week, had a bunch of live physical events that you were going to, and you were going to your local chamber of commerce, right? And you had an opportunity for free to also, in addition to physically running around and being at the live chamber of commerce, if you had the opportunity to also be on local access television, and you also had the ability to be on a billboard, and it was going to cost you nothing, do you say yes to that?
Yes.
So you're saying yes, you should be on all the live platforms?
I'm saying if it makes sense for you, and you can siphon value and dollars, and if you can be everywhere at once, and it's like, is there anyone here who doesn't want to take people's money? That's my actual answer. I'm not picking on you. It's my counterpunch. It's because it sounds like you're saying, oh, that seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. My answer is, there anyone here who doesn't want people's money? No?
So you're saying you should definitely do YouTube Live because that's where we're getting money. But only if you have. So at what point do you actually make 1 penny from a YouTube Live video?
The minute you make a sale. The minute you make a sale. Also, YouTube Live has a feature, aside from the ad revenue that the other platforms don't have, Super Chat, live donations. If somebody wants to give you a live donation and they also want their question posted to the top of the thing, they can donate $2, $5, $10, $100 via Super Chat through Google Wallet.
Are people using that? Has anyone used that?
Somebody actually did it and they got $300 in their first video. Nick Nimmin did about maybe, I think, $20 in his first video with it. It's literally been out for about 2 weeks and people are already making money.
Oh, okay.
So, that's real. But again, if you have a product or service to sell, the minute you convert, the minute you close, the minute you make a sale, guess what? You made money in the bank. Ross.
Hey, Roberto. First of all, congratulations on getting 200,000 followers on your channel. That's
Thank you.
Do you have a different strategy for tagging live videos versus tagging recorded videos, or you use the same strategy?
That's an excellent question. I use the same strategy, and the thing is, depending on how you approach it, you can do this in advance or you can do it after the fact. You don't really have an advantage in doing it in advance, and you may not know the context of how you should tag this or how you should do the description right before you go on, because you don't know where the conversation will go, especially if you're doing a Q&A. But if you have that strategy in place, and just remember, when you do the tags to describe a YouTube video, when you do the descriptions, even when you do the titles, you can always change it if you think it matters or if you think you can optimize it for more search. I can always go back and a video that did very well, I can tweak it after 6 months by just changing the titles, descriptions, and tags, and it might double the views because YouTube updates that stuff and searches and indexes it in real time, because Google is mama. Google's the parent company. Google is mama. YouTube's the baby boy. Google's mama. It's like, if you think about the largest search engine in the world and the fact that many of us have been in business and marketing since Google's inception and how it changed everything for us, you guys know that ranking in Google is pretty difficult. YouTube lets you rank in Google because of the way they're connected as a video search option. And you've probably all seen when you do your Google searches now that your recommended videos that relate to your search topic in addition to images, correct? So being there, again, regardless of whether you're in these other platforms, again, for free, you can be on what is the new television set. For free, the new television set. 1 billion users, 1/6 of the world. And added to that, you can repurpose this. And you can use it on your website. And you can embed it. And you can natively sell. And you can raise money in real time if you really want to, or you have the charisma, or you have the super fans for that. That all sounds really appealing. So again, I would highly recommend it. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I'm out of time. Am I out of time? No?
I don't know. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say you have several YouTube channels under one account, like sub-channels.
Right, so if you have multiple
That
YouTube channels.
cumulatively exceed 10,000, but not on any one single. Is that sufficient to go live?
No, it has to be under a single, it has to be 10,000 subscribers under a single account. For the time being, they do intend to not make a barrier to entry for using the YouTube Live mobile app. They want to aggressively push it, and it literally is as simple to use, but with some extra features as Periscope and Facebook Live and Instagram Live. The additional features are, yes, you actually get a lot of cinematic filters that you can use while live streaming, but you also have the ability to, before you start recording, you can position and flip the camera however you want. You have the automatic selfie countdown. You have the ability to enable super chat and get money, like in the live stream. None of the other platforms do have that. So they're going to make it accessible to everybody because they want to compete there. They want to try and dominate the marketplace. Now, I'm not saying abandon the other platforms, but I am saying that they're like, one, go where your audience is. With 1 billion users, I'd make the argument that you have an audience in YouTube waiting for you and that you can build one there. It might not feel as immediately gratifying as some of the other platforms, but opportunity is there. And I think I've demonstrated exactly how conversions in this platform can work very differently for you, both in the form of direct revenue, passive revenue, and getting people onto your email list, capturing leads, and the things that you can do there. One of the other things I would point out is that you can use appliances like Wirecast and Webinar Jam to augment what you can do with YouTube live streaming, which means you could put a paywall in front of a webinar or a masterclass, or that paywall doesn't have to be money, it could be an email capture, which you cannot currently really do with the other platforms. So for those of you who want to build lists and then sell your list, or you want to do a course, this is advantageous for you. The other thing is with the recorded video strategy, you can literally make ads. I could do a whole different talk on that, but keep in mind, aside from Facebook right now, video ads, which are again, like the greatest selling tool of all time. Everybody here remember all of the Coca-Cola Bear commercials, like from the early 90s, you guys remember that? Everybody remember the Energizer Bunny commercials? Like video ads have been selling us. I mean, everybody here knows, like, is literally, everyone's like, okay, I don't really care which team wins, or maybe you do, but I wanna watch those Super Bowl ads. When YouTube first launched in 2016, all me and my friends did was sit around in my friend Malcolm's kitchen, watching old Super Bowl ads and watching old ads from television shows. That's literally how we used YouTube in 2006 when it first came out. That's like literally all we did. So when people say, oh, I don't go to YouTube to get sold, I don't go to YouTube to watch commercials, I don't go to YouTube for ads, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? That's all we did when this thing came out. So, and I know I wasn't the only one, because those things had like millions of views back when that didn't seem like it would be a thing, because you guys remember how primitive the internet was in 2006. Like, I don't know. Again, never going back. Hashtag never forget. So real quick, I think I've covered the main points that I wanted to hit for you guys. And again, do you guys feel a little bit more comfortable with the idea of using YouTube in general, both for recorded and live video? You guys feel pretty good? Nice. So one of the last things I want to do is I want to definitely, for whatever time we have remaining, I'm sure I've gone over, but they told me it was okay. So, ask forgiveness, not permission. It's like, screw permission. So one of the last things I want to do is, if somebody could hit the little red record button again, because I'm sure I ran over time on that camera there in the center, I want to give you guys a little bit of Q&A love. All you gotta do is hit the little red button on the top.
It's still blinking.
Oh, it's still
It's
linked
still
to
recording,
record?
so
Really?
I can turn it off and on. Has
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Excellent. Thank you so much. Everybody give her a round of applause. I love having lovely assistants, especially when like technical difficulties. It's like I gotta talk to somebody. The battery life's supposed to be longer than that. But what I will do is I'm gonna open up for Q&A. Anything you guys want to know, I'm happy to answer it. And if you don't get to ask it in this session, I'm here at SummitLive for the remainder of the conference. And the thing is, I'm sure people are hungry, and we are technically in the lunch break right now, but I'm willing after this to literally do a lunch meetup. Somebody can pick a restaurant and we can all hang out, and I can stuff my face and answer your questions at the same time because I'm a multitasker.
And live stream it.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure people want to see me eat. And when they do, I guess they could use my Instagram for that, right?
What's your name and your handles across the board if you want to follow you?
So if you want to follow me in social, at Roberto Blake, spelled just like it sounds, at Roberto Blake, Robert with an O, Blake. And if you want to go to my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/RobertoBlake2, like the number 2, because some
Like the number 2, not the number 2, just like the number 2.
No, it's the actual number 2.
Alright.
It's like, if I can ever hunt down whoever's responsible for me not being able to just get at Roberto Blake, I have a red lightsaber I'd like to introduce you to. We got that. So we got a question over here in the back. Yes.
I'm curious, because I'm targeting women, I'd like to see an example of someone who's rocking it at YouTube Live. Can you name a woman who's doing it at YouTube Live?
YouTube Live as a whole is relatively new, but there are a lot of female YouTubers that in general are crushing it. A friend of mine who's actually crushing it in YouTube Live is using a unique strategy. Her name is Sarah Dici. She's a filmmaker and vlogger in New York. She was one of the Adobe Creative Residents for 2016. And what she decided to do is not only start doing YouTube live streams, where she's going to teach a little bit more behind the scenes of video editing and filmmaking and what she does for her vlogs. She invited her New York squad, which is a squad of the New York vloggers and filmmakers that she hangs out with on a regular basis, her squad, her crew, to actually do takeovers on her channel, so that a couple of days a week, in addition to her regular content, she has friends like great artist Timmy Han. Like Timmy Han, aka I Am Sloth. He does these great outdoor art installations. He does a great product line in terms of clothing and digital art and posters, and he is a master of Adobe Illustrator. He took over her channel this week and did this great artwork in Adobe Illustrator and allowed it to be a download so that other people can work on it and color it themselves and do that stuff. And so what she did was she set up a collaboration strategy for her live streams in addition to her recorded content. And for those of you who are worried about, I don't have enough time, you can use the strategy of collaborations. You can use the strategy of collaborations of bringing in your friends, your contemporaries, or even your employees and letting them do a takeover of your content. We've heard about, from Carlos Aguil at the closing keynote yesterday, about Snapchat takeovers and leveraging influencers. Those of you who are business owners, you can use your employees to farm content, both live and recorded, and let people see a little bit behind the scenes of your business or the process. And so they trust not the brand, not the logo, not the icon, but the people who are delivering for them. So that's a strategy you can use. So if you want a female entrepreneur, creative YouTuber that is crushing it and is leveraging both live and recorded, and she's done live with a combination of Twitch and YouTube simulcasting with Adobe, because Adobe's big on that. Sarah Dici is a great example.
How do you spell her name?
It sounds like Peachy, but it's Dici and it's spelled kind of like diet and then SCHY. So yeah, that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I guess related question. Who are the top 5 YouTube live streamers? I would bet that some of them will be existing YouTubers who will try live. A lot of YouTubers don't like live because they're not used to being live. They like recording video and it makes them feel weird. So there's going to be a whole new category of people who are just good at YouTube live, including some YouTubers and new YouTube livers like Sarah Dici and others.
I would say that.
What are the big ones?
I would say that because of the balancing act and because of how short form content plays out and because short form content is easier to produce even compared to live, push a button, go live, don't edit. Short form is still technically turnaround time on a 5-minute video, even if you're not an editor, is still less intense than an hour-long live stream altogether on turnaround for the same or greater value. Thus, I would argue that even if some of you go directly into YouTube and you go live, by the nature of YouTube itself, you'll eventually start doing recorded video. So I would make the argument that there's not going to be exclusive live streamers. Currently, there are not. When Google Hangouts on Air started, which was technically the predecessor to YouTube Live is more of a rebranding and an update to technology. Some of you, does anyone remember Google Hangouts on Air? So Google Hangouts on Air has been around for almost as long as, does anyone remember Justin TV? Justin TV was like probably the original online live streaming platform about maybe almost 10 years ago. And so if you think about it in that context, people have been using YouTube Live that do interviews for a very long time in the business world. And so I would say that if you look at any of the business people who use the platform, and there are a few people who do live podcasts, I'm not gonna like throw out, there's not names I could throw out that you guys would really know per se, but there are a lot of people in what I would call the YouTube biz dev community that have been doing it for a very, very long time, but they're still integrating recorded video. I agree with you that there might be a breakout section of people who want to exclusively do live streaming, but I think that that will be kind of the exclusivity of them only doing live streaming will be short-lived just because of the nature of the ecosystem, and that they'll eventually get into recorded video, and I'm going to push heavily to make that easier on them to do. So I know that's a long answer to that question, but that's my answer. All right, anybody? Oh.
So I'm curious, coming from Twitch world, thank you for bringing up Twitch and Google, and that's not a lot of talking.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, why is that?
Twitch now is looking up.
Twitch is the biggest live thing. I mean,
It's because it's dominated by the gamer culture, but there's a segment called Twitch Creatives, which I'm part of, and so, yeah, exactly. So what's your question regarding Twitch?
Well, I'm actually looking at stuff on YouTube Live. So what, is the format similar or do you like my talk shows, my Q&As on Twitch, but maybe we work with YouTube? Is that part of the
Oh yeah, it's very much the same. In fact, to be honest, the YouTube Live platform is an evolution of something that they did as a subsegment to compete with Twitch after they failed to buy it out.
Yeah.
Very much in the same way that Facebook and Instagram stories pretty much stole Snapchat stories, but they did a really good job. They actually know how to steal like an artist Steve Jobs style. YouTube and Susan in the game, they're no exception. They pretty much just stole it. And so YouTube Live is essentially Twitch.
Would it be good for me to try to like bring my viewers to YouTube?
I would make the argument that because of the culture of Twitch, they already watch YouTube content, and if you're there, they would follow there, and they already are active in that ecosystem, because you're talking about your average Twitch user is a millennial or Gen Z, which they are the largest overall segmented audience in YouTube. And in terms of reaching female viewers, the largest viewership in YouTube is females between 18 and 25. That's the largest segment of viewership in YouTube, and statistically they're actually more loyal. They actually have a higher overall watch time value. They also convert higher when it comes to click-throughs to something that's a buying decision. Like statistically it's been proven that female viewers and audiences do that a lot more. And so I would say, because again, the intuition, the know, like, trust factor, and being able to see who's authentic, and again, not to go on a tangent, and like some of you may disagree, women are like just proven outright better at that. Like, sorry, I mean, I get like a lot of perks like somewhat better upper body strength and higher bone density, and the cost is I'm not as great as a judge of character as my female counterparts. So, trade-offs.
Make you a real good judge of character.
Yeah, trade-offs. But yeah, does that answer your question in terms of bringing over viewership?
Yeah, I might bring it more to this.
Absolutely. Hey, like I said, anybody wants lunch? Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, We can, like, anybody wants to do like freaking biz dev lunch after this session, we can do that.
Where?
You know what? Somebody's gonna have to pick a place because I'm not a California native. Somebody's gonna have to pick a place. Hopefully walking distance from the conference.
There's a place across the street.
Alright, so maybe we do that. So before we go, is there like, anybody got one last question? Anybody got a curveball they want to throw? Sure.
First of all, you have great presence, you're a great presenter, I love it. We oftentimes hear about, you see the finished product, I'm a former athlete, no one sees what goes into it, the training. Why don't you talk about an obstacle or a challenge that you went through and how you overcame it?
Oh, absolutely. So an obstacle or a challenge I went through in the process of, I guess, essentially becoming Roberto Blake and doing everything that I do in video and the finished product. The challenge for me was my own neuroses, like literally living in my head. Standing here in front of you guys, the majority of you will not believe me when I tell you that I'm a freaking introvert. Like, most people on YouTube do not believe me when I tell them how much of an introvert I am. I am literally in my own head all the time. I am a freaking basket case. I don't think I've actually ever said that on stage out loud before, but I have no compunctions about doing it because the beauty of it is that it really helped me. It helped me because everyone gets demotivated by their lack of views and their lack of subscribers. When I started and nobody was watching in 2013, I didn't care. I was like, oh, thank God, because my neurotic basket case self was obsessing over every single thing that I didn't like. I didn't like my on-camera presence. I hated, I was still getting over some self-esteem issues. I hated my overall general appearance. I felt like, I don't feel like I'm energetic enough on camera because I usually was recording after doing some work, which meant I was tired. So I figured out, self-awareness. If you don't like how you're doing this, why don't you stop being insane and change it so the result changes? So don't do something when you're tired. Eat a banana and get some rest before you go on camera. Have some water, you don't like that you are flubbing your words so much? How about before you go on camera, you start doing Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked a Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked, so that you will flub your words less because your mouth has gotten to warm up. Genius. So what I did was, it was my neuroses. It was my neuroses, and it was this self-deprecating attitude that I had, like, greatest weakness, greatest strength for me, because what it meant was, instead of obsessing over views and subscribers and external approval, instead of needing people to clap it up for me, what I ended up focusing on was making a better quality product, getting better at delivering value, getting better at connecting with an audience, getting better at the emotional cues, getting better at anticipating problems that I could solve for my audience and knowing what content I would make for them that would resonate, that would land. Being able to be more concise, being able to be more focused, more laser targeted, being able to not go off on rambles and tangents nearly as much, and having to edit the stuff down. Being able to do better sound quality and say, gee, I really feel like I did a good job, but now my audio quality really sucks. It's crap. It's a horrible experience to listen to this no matter how good the information is. So I had to get better at that, and I had to learn a little bit of audio production stuff, and I had to learn some of those chops, and I still am learning. I still am neurotic and just a slightly less of a basket case and slightly less obsessive, and I just still keep always looking for, how can I do better? How can I do better color grading? How can I make the audio levels better? Do I need to normalize this? Do I need to do adaptive noise reduction? It's like, oh, hey, when I'm like recording, try and get like 2 cameras so that I have coverage and safety. When I'm doing, I have 2 audio sources, do all that stuff so that I can go ahead and post these things so that people can get the value later and everything like that. Have somebody do a live stream so that maybe people can get behind the scenes and they can see that I'm real and authentic, because that's leverage. Getting smarter, getting smarter, getting smarter. So the process that nobody sees is all the things that I scribble on board and throw out. The thing that no one sees is how much I beat myself up about just wanting to be better at everything. What the people don't see is the push-ups, the days in the gym, the gains, the work. What people don't see is me schlepping around 30 pounds of gear at a conference before speaking, just to be able to get stuff in and to get B-roll done. What people don't see is that I do not, as much as I love and appreciate every single one of my subscribers, as cool as it is to have that 200K by my name, I do not give a crap about those numbers. I give a crap about the number of, I have 925 videos in the can that are public because I'm over 1,000 because of the people on my private email list for those unlisted videos, and also stuff that I unlisted because it's not relevant anymore, and I need to do an update video and blah, blah, blah. What I am obsessed about, the number that I'm obsessed about, is the next 1,000 videos, the next 1,000 pieces of content that are gonna make my previous 1,000 pieces of content look like crap for the sheer amount of effort and work that I'm gonna do to do better audio, better color grading, better online presence, do better interviews, find people like you guys, interview them, bring new value to my audience that's never been big, do live streaming, do that like maybe even once a week on the YouTube platform, all the tweaks to get better and better. They don't see me obsess over and do 3 versions of a freaking thumbnail. That is the thing that no one sees under the hood of what happens. The tweaking, the research on the SEO component part of it and everything like that. The literally hours upon hours of going through the YouTube traffic data and analysis. The traffic data and analysis that I do under the hood in the dashboard to identify patterns in my audience's user behavior, to anticipate things that I could do that serve them better because I'm a big data nerd. Another thing about being an introvert is that you love data. You love doing that because we suck at social cues and we suck at reading people, and then you have people like me who cheat and learn micro expressions and study psychology and do that because I'm not built normal and I can't just do that off the cuff and everything like that. Sorry, not my particular skill. So I cheat, I use data. So no one no one sees that. So your answer is the entirety of the process. Everyone always sees the finished polished product. No one understands that, what's the one thing that gets people to 100,000 subscribers that nobody talks about? It's like people think that when you get your first 100 subscribers, that's where your other subscribers come from. People go out and they do things like buy fake subscribers and buy fake views because they think that if I have those numbers, the numbers will breed numbers. What they don't understand is the work that you do to get to 100, the work that you do to get to 1,000, that process, that pain of getting better is what gets you to 10,000 and gets you to 100,000. Getting to 100,000 teaches you the bare minimums of what it takes to get to 1,000,000. It's literally just like athleticism because I was a track star and a track runner. The work to break a 6-minute mile is what got me down to a 5:15 mile. That's it. It is literally the muscles and the gains. The work you did to learn how to lift 50 pounds is the work that's going to let you lift 100 pounds. There's no amount of just looking good that does that. The vanity of looking good, if you actually don't have the strength, the muscles, the endurance, the experience, it doesn't work. Vanity doesn't work. You could drive and have a fancy car that, maybe you rented for a day and that might really impress someone. But guess what? Next week when they need a ride, you can't do it. So the things that impress people, the impression, that breeds things, or it makes people make you believable, or what actually makes you good and makes you believable? The work that I had to do of getting on camera and sucking for 50 to 100 first videos to figure out my facial cues and expressions and my tics and that I don't smile enough, or that my eyes dart around the room anytime something moves. Those things and learning that and watching the replays of myself sucking out loud made me better. Not having more subscribers. Having more subscribers did not make me better at making videos that people would give a crap about enough to share or to click a subscribe or to watch through for an hour. It didn't. So that's what it means. Yes?
I know, I'm not sure I'm just on but I just want to get this in real quick. First of all, thanks for coming out. I got a lot of value from this. I really relate you to the way your delivery is very similar to that of Gary Vee, and I really enjoy the way you speak. I guess I want to ask you a little bit more about competing with programmatic when it comes to the influencer marketing space and getting hired by brands.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that you position the native integration of a brand on social media, and how do you compete against programmatic ad buying? Because essentially you've been in the selling position when it comes to a brand.
I love this question. I love this question because this scratches a part of my brain that no one scratches because I worked in advertising. I worked in advertising and I was a marketing manager, so I bought ads, I made ads, I'd done it all. And there's nobody, for the most part, there's very few people in the YouTube space and literally probably actually in the industry that have literally sat in all the chairs. So I love this question. And so part of it is, first of all, you have to prove it. Meaning if you're going to do a native integration campaign, you have to prove it by doing things that would already match to the brand. Primary example is when I wanted to work with Dell and they sent me the XPS 13 here. They could do that because they saw that I did laptop reviews of products I owned for their competitors without their competitors even sending me the thing. So they knew I had the ability, they saw it for themselves, that I have the chops, that I have the skills, and that my audience cares and that they would buy. My Amazon affiliate numbers are rated and they send those things to the manufacturers and to the people. And so they know, hey, this is like the person leading conversions in category and so on and so forth. It also means when I pitch, because I did affiliate marketing in YouTube, it meant pitching myself to brands for integrations. I can show them sales numbers. I can tell them unit conversions per month. I can tell them category conversions. I can tell them gross dollar revenue per year on things that I sold that aren't mine. So that is actually useful to them. The other thing is I didn't position myself on my views or my subscribers. I didn't position on any of that. I positioned on subject matter expert. The people who will buy your thing will trust me to tell them about it because I use it in a work capacity to make real money. Thus, I'm in the market, as in I would be their supervisor, their boss, or their colleague anyway. And you buy what your boss or your supervisor or your colleagues buy to be comparable or competitive with them in the real world. So that's my positioning. Now part of that against a media buy, and the difference is this, is that when you do a media buy, the content goes away. When you buy ads, you spend, you could spend literally, if you're a big enough brand, you can spend $5,000 on a single PPC campaign that will burn out in 48 hours, burn through that cash based on clicks. And if you're lucky, the average, as we know, we're all business people and marketers here, 2% conversions, 2% conversions. Wow, and this is gonna go away in 2 days. That sucks. That sucks. And I spent $1,000, $5,000.
Right.
I'd hire you as an influencer. I hire you as an influencer. I don't care how many subs you have right now or whatever, but as an influencer, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can throw you $500. I can throw you $1,000. And if I have a product that, I only need to sell how many of those to break even off of that, and also the cost of product against that and everything like that, which I just take as a loss of inventory in the thing anyway. So tax-wise, I win no matter what. It doesn't matter. Like doing an influencer marketing campaign is almost always you can in the accounting always get it right anyway. So it's not really a risk from that standpoint. The content and the representation of are you going to embarrass the brand is the only real variable there. And if it's not live, then there's low risk because we have to get an approval.
Right.
So in that regard, the way you position it against, say, PPC, can somebody check and see if that's still
Yep, we're still going.
Thank God. All right, so, because this is a good one, because I can use this as its own content. So the way you position against PPC is the simple fact that, like I said, if you do an ad buy in Facebook or Google, that content goes away. When you do an influencer marketing campaign, in most contracts, the content has to exist on the platform for a minimum of 6 months.
Oh.
So,
Is that what you're used to?
Yes.
That number?
Yes.
I guess the trade-off.
And on the platforms, also if you don't go directly, if you use platforms like FameBit or Relio Labs or Grapevine Logic or Influencive or any of them, they have that embedded in the agreement, which means that it's got to be up here for 6 months. So your content, regardless of how it performs, is there and searchable and marketable for 6 months. They also have permission to use it in their social media for 6 months. So this native integration that you did is a piece of content that they paid for one time out of their quarterly budget that will get them through Q1 and Q2 that it's there, versus I spend money on this crap and it burnt out in a day. I could spend the same money and have something that can be distributed for 6 months. That if the influencer is good, they have every incentive. You're a YouTuber. You have a little bit of ego and vanity if you're on YouTube, just a little bit, maybe not a lot. Some people a lot, some more than others. That being said, you have every incentive for your thing to get as many views, shares, likes, engagement as possible. You have every incentive. If they let you do an affiliate marketing campaign on that, every time you sell, every time you have a view, it's a potential sale, you have every incentive to make more money instead of just the upfront money. So, yeah. It's like, I don't know, I understand, but selling yourself as an influencer for influencer marketing is not hard. It is not hard. You just have to speak the language of sales and marketing. And the difference is, I know you can do that. The difference of why the narrative exists that's hard is because YouTube creators and creatives in general are not business people. They're not salespeople. I'm trying to help them get there so they don't become starving artists. But if you are a pure creator and you're a creator first type person, and there's nothing wrong with being that way if that's just who you are, that's your DNA. I was that way for a long time. At least I thought I was. I evolved, because I wouldn't say that I am. I've always been a creative entrepreneur, because I was still the kid hand-drawn comic books and selling them for 50 cents at 6 years old. So I was always hustling. It's that's just truth. 25 years in business, ladies and gentlemen. I'm 33 and I've got over 25 years in business. I'm not even kidding about that. And again, I know that that's a little bravado. I know that's all about, but it's real because it's mentality. The mentality of, I will create something that I love, I will create something awesome, I will create something of value, and I will monetize the hell out of it, is real. That's very real, and it is something that if that's who you are and that's your mindset, solving that puzzle piece that you just threw me, I love that. Because for me, oh, well, that's simple. That's simple. I know because, again, I was a media buyer, which many people are not. I was a media buyer, I worked that in corporate. I know that, geez, I was Google AdWords certified. I keep saying that, I don't think anyone remembers or believes me. I was AdWords certified. So, and even as an entrepreneur, I will buy stuff, and I'm planning to buy stuff this year in AdWords. When you go into AdWords and you buy stuff, you know that, oh, when this money burns out, the campaign's over. That could be a day, it could be a week. However the click-through burns through the cash. And then, people aren't seeing that thing anymore. It's gone. You make an organic piece of content in a platform like YouTube versus, again, if you do Instagram Live, it's gone. You do Facebook Live, it's still there. Does anyone here, outside of the context of their marketing thing, does anyone here search in Facebook for anything?
Yes, actually.
Outside the context of your business?
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, really? All right.
For articles, news articles.
Okay.
Subjects.
Thank God. Yes. Now, if you weren't a marketer or a business person, would you be searching Facebook for videos and live streams? Are your parents or your siblings searching for videos and live streams in Facebook?
No.
Everything in Facebook, because the culture of Facebook and the user behavior is newsfeed first, right? It's newsfeed first. When you go to YouTube, do you just randomly click on stuff or do you search for something?
Search.
You're something. The culture of YouTube is search, right? When you go to Snapchat, the culture isn't search, right? When you go to Periscope, the culture isn't search, right? It's the people that you set notifications for, your homies are live right now, right? Anybody here really big on searching in Periscope and hunting stuff down? Right. One guy, right? Okay, there's always one, and that's fine. And the thing is, if there were more of you, I'd say, oh, thank God. But then I would counter, do you know anybody else outside this room like that? Which means that if you understand the culture and the intention of something, i.e. the culture and the intention of the user base and of the business, you can always walk backwards from, how do I help you? Tyrion Lannister is my favorite character in Game of Thrones, and he's gonna win. He's gonna win, because Team Tyrion, Team Lannister, I drink and know things. Literally that's all I do. So the reason Tyrion just wins no matter what, is because you might have noticed that every single question every single season he asks the same question. What do you want? He asks everybody that same question. Have you guys not seen that for the last 6 seasons? Oh, what do you want? Oh, and then it's oh, well, I can give that to you. And oh, the minute that you think that somebody is going to offer a better deal for you to betray me, I'll double it. Tyrion's always creating value for the other person. He always tries to give them what they want. He always positions I know what you want. I know what matters to you. I'm not going to assume that you have my noble ideals or that you want to be on my side. I'm just going to facilitate getting you what you want, as well, and let you know that putting me in your way is a mistake. But aligning with me will give you everything you want, and it will make your life easier and better. And that is all you have to do to sell anyone. And that is all you have to do is use these platforms as a tool to let more people know that about you. So that just like everyone knows that Lannister always pays their debts, people know who you are and what you're about. People see this hat, and they usually see, I'm not wearing my Create Awesome shirt today, but they see that hat, they see that shirt, they see this face, they know what I'm about. They know that, he can deliver value for me, he can tell me about video marketing, he can tell me about creativity, he can help me stop being a starving artist, and he can tell me a lot of truths that I may not like, but will make me money. So, that's what my deal is. Yes?
So you had dissed buying views or likes or viewers.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what it would take to get one to the level of 10,000 in order to qualify for live,
It's still a waste of time because of a couple of things. YouTube and Google. Google owns YouTube. Smartest engineering team in the world. They've been actually hurting those of us who are legit in the platform a little bit in their efforts to purge all the fakes. And I think everyone remembers the great Instagram purge and how people got caught up in that. And you know what? I don't know if people have been paying attention to recent events. Being a negative headline, not a great idea, not worth the risk anymore. Like the high risk, high reward, it seems that that's not really working out for people. They say no, there's no such thing as bad press. I beg to differ.
are there better approaches than to get to 10,000?
Absolutely. First of all, I would say you don't have to worry about it right now because it would be very difficult, though not impossible, to get to 10,000 next 30 or 60 or 90 days from zero. But it doesn't matter because you'll get the live capabilities within the next 30, 60, or 90 days, pretty sure, because they're aggressively wanting to compete with Instagram, Periscope, and Facebook Live. And so you'll get it with 0 subscribers pretty soon here. The other thing is,
To everybody?
To everybody, yes. The other thing is you can immediately start live streaming from the desktop using YouTube Live, and all you have to do is verify your account with a phone number. That's it. So and enable monetization. You do those two things, and you can use live from the desktop, get used to having an on-camera presence on YouTube and doing those things, and you can start crushing it so that when it comes time to go to the mobile side, you already are feeling comfortable in the platform, you've already kind of got a strategy more than anything, you've experimented.
But I thought YouTube disabled live from the desktop.
Oh no, it hasn't. No, it's right there. It's like people may not be seeing it, but you have a button that says live events, and also you can still access Google Hangouts on air if you go to it directly. You just go to google.com/hangouts, you can still utilize it. A lot of people are still utilizing it for private mastermind groups and all kinds of things. So